welcome to episode 79 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of the Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday morning on iTunes and SoundCloud, and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. To catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice listed in the description below. I am Mao, and it is the year of me. And I am joined by some other people.
Hi.
Introduce us, Mal. I had a whole spiel plan. You ruined it. You always ruin everything.
Wild card, bitches!
Yep. Yeah.
Sent him to the Shadow Realm.
I mean, I was gonna say he literally wildcard your ass, man.
Yep. I was gonna say Soren's back, baby. The best planewalker, the vampire that triggers my carnal desire.
That was odd.
Yeah, there you go.
Obsidian with his love of Soren.
We'll talk more about magic later, but all these planewalkers, I can't hold them all. They're fumbling like lemons.
Can't I hold all these planeswalkers?
Exactly.
Didn't that dragon just show up like not 2 sets ago or something?
He's been around for a long time.
Bolus stays around.
Bolus, you can't.
This is his like big finale. But
Bolus is the dragon that just
neither
keeps
here
on
nor
giving.
there. I'm also joined by Meta
Hi. How you doing?
and Tetsuo.
Hello.
Akira! Kaneda! Tetsuo!
How have all of you been? It's been a while.
Has been a while.
Been very busy. It's been
Yeah?
super busy. Yeah. Last
I-
week it has been immensely busy. I haven't had actually an evening kind of really to spare.
Oh, wow.
Work sucks. I know. She left me roses by the stairs. Surprises let me know she cares.
Say it ain't so.
I will not go.
Whoa.
Yeah, carry me home. Yeah, work is awful.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Even worse for you guys for other reasons, but
Yeah.
mine just working a lot. So and being
It's the
pretty
busy
busy.
season.
Yeah, it's one of our busiest times of year. So
Yeah, we're gonna be entering that season soon. I'm not looking forward to it.
I've been doing a lot of kayaking actually.
Oh, wow.
I got a kayak.
Really?
I've been kayaking on the weekend. It's been a lot of fun. I don't have much to say beyond that, other than sometimes I'm an idiot and go backwards and fall off of it. But
It's funny that you say that because my wife and I were actually talking recently about possibly trying to go kayaking at some point, assuming we could get somebody to watch the baby.
yeah, it's you can get a really decent recreational kayak for pretty cheap, and you can find them on Craigslist and stuff all the time. So you can probably find used ones for even cheaper. It's a lot of fun. I was out there 2 weeks ago for like 4 hours almost on the lake. So luckily, Chattanooga's blessed with tons of places to get on the water.
I can't say I've done kayaking myself, but I can say that I am gonna get ready to do some fishing.
Fishing is a lot of fun as well. I enjoy it. That's why one of the reasons my roommate got a kayak is so he can fish.
the wifey actually likes to fish too, so I can bring her along.
Really? I would have never took Lily as a fisher.
I know. That was really weird to hear, but she's like, "Yeah, I love fishing." I'm like, "Really?"
I only enjoyed saltwater fishing because it was like always, you were always doing something.
Well, we can't always live in sunny Orlando, Florida, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Lake County, so there were tons of lakes as well.
Yeah. Lots of them.
But that was always boring.
I usually
It's been a long time since I've gone fishing.
Yeah, me too.
I'll be honest, I never catch anything. I don't know if it's just like a curse word or something, but I just suck at it.
You're not fishing in the right spots, Meta.
No. So like, I would go. I got no.
Just the right way.
No, I'm telling you right now. I think it's just they don't like me specifically because I've gone with my dad fishing plenty of times. We go out. We'll get up early, ours in the morning before roosters have even woken up from their sleep, and we'll head on out to a lake and we'll get on the lake and he will set up the lines and whatnot because he's way more into it than I do, but I enjoy it all the same. So he sets up all the lines. He's got everything ready. We're going on there. He's got like bait, tackles, sprays, everything that you could possibly use. He even like looks into like what the weather's gonna be, how's it gonna stand with the fish and whatnot, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I'm like, we sit up on there. My dad will get hit after hit after hit. I get nothing, just nothing. He'll even put me in the better spot. He's like, this is a better spot, fish here. And I'm like, all right, if you insist, nothing. We've traded, I kid you not, a lure that's been hit thrice in an hour's time. We'll then trade fishing rods. They stop going after me and they go right to my dad's again. It's bullshit. They know.
They do know. We actually have a about an hour away. There's like a mountain stream that has a trout hatchery at the top of it. And all throughout summer and early fall, they release trout every weekend. So you can actually, and they let you keep them, so you can literally just go up there and catch trout to your heart's content. And
wow!
Like we went camping up there and like cleaned them and ate them, and they're really good, fresh out the river like that. So I
would love to learn how to clean a fish, just to know how to do it. I've never done it though, because we don't have any place around here that does catch and keep. At least that we've ever visited, I should say.
It's not too bad.
Nah.
Like I watched a YouTube tutorial and figured out how to do it. So
okay, is it a pretty quick process?
Yeah, once you get good at it.
Yeah, once you're good
at it. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
when you're good at anything, it's really quick.
Yeah, like
do a lightning quick, basically.
Like it'll probably take you like 15 seconds to do it when you're pretty experienced. Probably depends on the fish too, but
that's true.
What would you say is a beginner's average time? What would you say that would be?
It took me about 30-something, 40 seconds, maybe.
Wow, it's that. Wow.
Yeah, it's not that long.
Holy
yeah,
you're literally just flaying each side of it, like
pretty much. You just cut the entrails out, pull them out.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Just gotta debone it.
Yeah,
you got it, and then just flay each side off the bone, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta try it sometime.
So yeah, what about you, Tets? What have you been doing?
Mostly been working on models when I'm not watching the little one. Actually, while I'm watching the little one too, if I'm perfectly honest.
Here you go. Hold this super glue.
Your little respirator on. It's time to airbrush.
Like the little mask.
He says that because I've been complaining so much lately about not being able to airbrush, because that's where I'm stuck on so many projects because I can't airbrush at the moment. And so, like, my backlog is being worked through, but only, like, partially. So, like,
do you not want to just switch back to, like, hand brushing, or is there a reason you really want to do the airbrushing or waiting for it?
Ooh, hand brushing can take a long time.
Yeah, airbrushing is way quicker.
And it also is much less smooth for if it was something like Warhammer 40K or D&D miniatures or something, hand brushing all the way. But on the scale that like Gundam models are,
it's harder to
see the brush strokes
to be uniform.
Okay.
Right.
Across the entire like chassis or something.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
So is it almost considered like mandatory then to learn how to airbrush if you're going to be doing Gundams and Gunpla and whatnot?
Only if you want to paint them.
Sort of a little bit, yeah. I mean,
and there are people who do hand brush them.
Yeah, and they can look phenomenal. Like if you, the biggest thing is getting your watering down of the paints like just right. So that way the brush strokes then level out after you like let it dry. But it takes more time to learn how to do that than it does to learn how to use an airbrush. Because it's a lot of practice and feel to get that
plus there are a lot of effects that you can really only do with an airbrush.
Yeah, that too.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Things I gotta learn. I like whenever
the
I'm
more you know.
Yeah, right.
See, you're learning about painting and gutting fish. I
am.
Yeah.
It's so educational for me.
One of these days I'll do a topic
I always doubt myself when I'm doing like paintings for like little figures that we just use for tabletop stuff. I mean, I'm not expecting to be masterpieces.
I'm terrible at it.
I'm so bad. Like,
there we go.
There's so much doubt on what I'm doing. I can't. Like, is this enough water? Is it not enough water? Do I need to water it down more? Is this the right consistency? Do I have enough on my paintbrush? Did I take too much off? I don't know. I just don't.
I'm like the same
There's-
way, and my roommate's actually pretty good at it. And I just go,
main
"What do you
tricks.
think?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure, whatever." I'm just like, "Come on, man, tell me more."
Tell me. Give me your secrets.
Honestly, there's two main things to keep in mind. The watering down to get it ideal, at least for miniatures, about the consistency of skim milk.
Man, I don't remember the consistency of skim
I don't
milk.
either. I ain't
I know,
drank
it
skim
sounds
milk
weird.
in forever.
Just if you look it up online, it's very easy to notice, and there's a wide margin of when it hits that point before it leaves that point. So for the most part, I do like I'll fill up a small pallet and just do 1 drop of water. That's usually all it needs.
Really?
Yep. And then, or if you ever use like Vallejo, I don't know what your main paint is, but Vallejo paint, it's like dropper bottles, so you can judge your dropper. So it's like 5 drops to 1 drop of water or something like that.
Oh, I should do something like I should put dropper tops on the paints that I have then.
Yeah, it makes things a lot easier for mixing proportions as well if you mix your own colors.
That would
Don't do that. Just throw them all together and then paint your wizards like Jace every single
then
time.
What am I gonna do? I'll put on one of those spinning sheets, right? I'll just put the finger on that, and then just like tie-dye the crap out of it.
There
Just
we go.
toss the pot. Just open the pot and just toss it as
Toss it in, shake it up a bit, and then throw it back out.
It's like
Yeah,
I'm
and then the
seasoning
second one
chicken.
is, as long as you hit each thing with the main color you want it to, then slap it with a wash. A wash will
Yeah, wash do
blend
make them
all
look good.
imperfections.
Yeah,
It makes
I
things-
know.
Especially on like cloaks and stuff, it looks cool.
Get too deep.
But
I
anyways,
never remember.
Mal, segue
Anyways,
us.
that's
You're the
a whole
host.
topic in and of itself
Mouse!
that I can do.
Mouse,
And that was our first topic.
topic.
Mal, keep us on track. It's your year.
Well, I haven't been doing much. The only thing I've really been doing is playing Sekiro.
Sekiro!
Shadows die twice, so that will be my.
Kami-sama.
What if it dies 3 times?
Eventually, you
Eventually you do die 3 times, actually.
Well, then the titles are lying to me.
It should have been dies once, then the sequel dies
Sekiro,
twice.
Shadows die more than once.
Dies yet again. Tell us about Sekiro, Mal.
Yes.
Sekiro is a game made by FromSoftware, the same people who brought you the Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
And Armored Core.
Sure. and
Armored
Armored Core.
I just want to twist that knife.
Oh, you're mean.
If you didn't,
Yeah.
I was going to, just so you know.
I was gonna say.
Tets loves self-inflicted knife twisting.
Yep, and Kingsfield, and what they did a Tenchu game, I believe,
Which explains a lot here.
I
Right.
think they did specifically Tenchu Z. I think
they
was
did
it?
Shadow Assault Tenchu.
I thought they did. Yeah, hold a second. From Software Tenchu. Let's look it up. I think they did Tenchu.
Well,
I'm trying to find.
Nope, just Shadow Assault Tenchu comes up
Just-
on this Wikipedia.
Wow.
But anywho, this is, you can definitely tell it's a From Software game, and that it takes some of the things from the Soulsborne series, but it is definitely not a Soulsborne game.
yeah, it's very inspired by them, but
Yeah, like
the
yes, you
RPG elements being gone are probably what pushes it out of the subgenre.
yeah, it's more of an action adventure game with really no art. There's a little bit of, I guess, like leveling up,
Yeah.
but it's more just using skill points.
Mhm.
It takes place in the Sengoku period, and you play a shinobi known as Wolf,
Oh,
as he takes or attempts to take revenge on samurai who attacked him and kidnapped his lord.
who's a little
Wow.
kid.
Yeah. I think you have amnesia, but it really doesn't.
That's
matter.
what it seems like to me so far, anyways.
It doesn't really come up much later. Much
it's-
after the start.
You get an interesting level based off of it.
Yeah.
Which is actually, I think, probably my favorite level so far. Is that whole
Yeah.
portion?
You do as you explore, you do find like the equivalent of bonfires from Dark Souls, which are sculptures.
Mhm. You get like your Estus shards and stuff
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, you get healing, refillable healing items. But like, yeah, the one of the biggest things is that you can't grind out levels to make the game easier, which
No.
has definitely been a sticking point for a lot of people.
Yeah. I kind of like it, because it feels different. It offers a new challenge basically you could eventually overcome any challenge for the most part in Bloodborne or Dark Souls.
Really had you could grind forever.
You could just level like hit points and strength or whatever build you're doing.
Yeah.
But this you have to learn like the boss's patterns and stuff.
Yeah, eventually you will hit a boss that you have to beat to keep progressing.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
I spent 4 hours on one total there and about.
I love it.
There's also a stealth element in this game because you are a shinobi, and
which is awesome.
Yeah,
great.
You also
love
get a grappling hook basically to zoom about the level.
You zip zoodadding everywhere.
Yeah, which you usually use to get the drop on unsuspecting enemies and kill them.
And in some boss fights, you can use it as well.
Yeah, or at least many boss fights. So the combat is quite different from your typical Soulsborne in that you need to break through an enemy's posture, which is like a gauge that will fill up for you and your enemy.
Is the closest equivalent to it like the stamina meter? I guess
of like a reverse stamina meter, like it fills up instead of depleting.
Yeah, you don't get punished for just swinging your weapon around.
Right, you have no stamina, which is also a huge difference from the Soulsborne stuff in that you can just attack forever, at least until you get attacked back. And once the posture breaks, you can do a death blow, which you might have to do more than once for bosses and mini bosses.
Because they died twice.
Sure.
Some of them do. Yeah.
If you have to do death blows multiple times, I don't know if it's
usually it's blow. It's like what would be a death blow, but they're just like, that's just a flesh wound, even though you just
shove your sword through their sternum.
Even though your sword just went right through my eye into my skull, I'm okay.
I love the death animations, by the way. Some of the enemies have unique ones, which is great.
Oh yeah.
They're cool. They feel really visceral too.
They remind me a lot, actually, because we were just talking about Tenchu stealth kills.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish there was a little bit more of them.
I mean, there's a skill you can get to do them while jumping in the air, or while someone's in the air and you jump at them.
Yeah, you'll eventually get stuff. Yeah, you'll eventually get abilities too that you can do after death blow triggers to make give you a little bit more decision to make. Like, there's one where you can push R1 and it uses some of your spirit emblems, but it creates like a blood mist where you just blood spray everywhere and it becomes like a smoke bomb.
There's like the skill ones, like the blood mist. You've got the possession.
Yeah. So they did away with levels and they added skill trees, which there are more. Originally, they basically were like, it made it sound like there were only 3, and there's a little more than that. And you get because you end up with a prosthetic after the tutorial, which is how you have your grappling hook. And there's one based on that and doing more interesting things with your prosthetics, like maybe using them while in midair or being able to grapple enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's your shinobi arts, which might make you more stealthy, or
I only have not one of those. It's the one where you get HP back when you do a death blow.
That's really strong.
I know, and it's like 5 levels too.
Just don't get hit, and you don't need it at all.
That's my thought process, Meta. Exactly.
How's that working out for you?
On some bosses, not so well.
Look, all I'm saying is you just have to know all his strings, perfectly block all his attacks, and you don't need any self-healing. It's no big.
Exactly.
Easy. It's easy.
So the combat relies a lot on deflecting, which is closer to parrying in Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
In dodging becomes less good because you can't really let up because of the enemies can regain posture. So if you let them breathe, you're just dragging out the fight and making no real progress. Other than you can also try and damage their HP, and the more HP damage they have, the harder it is for their posture to for them to recover their posture. So it's kind of a mix of trying to do some health damage so that their posture.
You want a good balance.
Yeah, and that's mainly a thing more for boss fights, since you can generally either attack enough or mix in a few deflects to take care of the little guys, or just stealth kill them, because they all die in one hit if you can do it from the stealth.
Killing the dogs is so satisfying. Because it's FromSoftware. They're not as annoying in this game.
No, they all die from one hit, which is real.
I love parrying a dog bot and then just like Iajitsu slashing it afterwards as a follow through.
Yeah, so the game wants you to be way more aggressive than what most people are.
Even Bloodborne, it feels like you want to be more aggressive than that game. And that game rewarded aggression.
Right. But this one has no penalty. Like, there's no stamina keeping you back.
Exactly.
Even when your posture breaks, most bosses will not capitalize on it. So it doesn't really matter if your posture fills up and it breaks, because once it breaks, it just resets. Like, you stagger for a moment, but there's almost no punishment for it. So you can just get back to, deflecting and fighting.
Freaking Yobe was OTGing me a lot. So maybe I should just not have had my posture being broken constantly. That was my problem.
And, like, it's so aggressive that once you understand, like, how to take on a boss, it will, like, the entire fight might just take 1 minute or something. But you've probably spent forever. You might have taken hours learning the moves that they use and how to deflect.
But it feels so good when you finally figure it out.
Oh yeah,
when you just trade blows and are parrying constantly and like going back and forth, it just feels like a sword fight duel.
Yeah,
so well.
Game has made me feel better about beating bosses, basically.
Yeah. I feel the same.
Like, it also, I've never been good at parrying in Dark Souls, so playing a game that relies on it so much, was, especially at the start, much more frustrating, and I'd have to go away and play something else for a while, which has made it difficult, because I think I'm been at it for 2 weeks now, basically, and I think I'm just in the last final third of the game, which I think I think it's around a 50-hour game for most people.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a really long game. Jesus.
I'm already at 20, and I'm not even a third of the way through the game, so as far as boss count goes, I've only killed like 3 bosses, I think.
I think, depending on some things, it's around 10 bosses, so you're about around a third.
Yeah. Working my way up Mount Kingo, killing some Buddhist monks.
Yeah, Time to Beat actually has the main story at 26 hours. Which...
I've done a lot of sin grinding, also.
Yeah. There's usually a lot of stuff I've seen people say is like, there's usually a certain boss, usually it's boss number 3, but for some people it was other bosses, that the game kind of just clicks, and the game just kind of picks up from there, as far as your progression and your difficulty with other bosses.
Yeah, once you get a few memories and stuff, they start becoming a little bit easier to, at least the mooks in general.
Yeah, beating an actual boss, because there are a lot of mini bosses, but only about 10 or so actual bosses, which are bosses that give you memories, which you can then use to up your attack power. And then usually mini bosses will give you a prayer bead, though not necessarily all of them. And when you get 4 prayer beads, you can make a prayer bracelet, and it ups your posture gauge and health gauge.
Yep, so that's basically all the RPG elements you get. That, I guess, like the skill levels, but
and then you get skill points. But
those are your traditional souls or blood in quotes.
They split it in. You get money and XP, and then once you get enough XP to get a skill point, you start having to fill up the bar again. And when you die, you lose half of the XP of that bar and half of your money. and there's no getting it back like in Dark Souls. But when you know an enemy kills you, you get the option to revive, which you get back up with half your health, I believe, and
Correct.
you get another shot at. And then later in the game, you can actually get more than one revive.
Of course, those revives will lead to your allies getting dragon rot.
It's actually the revives at a statue that can spread the dragon rot, not the revives.
Really?
Yep.
Yep. So if you manage to stay alive, then you don't lose.
Yeah. Then the dragon rot chance doesn't go up because NPCs can get dragon rot, which will lower. So you start the game with 30% unseen aid.
Mine's like 4.
Yeah. Unseen aid is what if you end up dying and you're out of revives, you go back to a sculpture, and that's when you lose half of your XP and money. But the unseen aid, you will keep all of it if it triggers.
Yep.
And the more dragon rot you get, the lower it goes. As Ob said, he's only got 4% of receiving unseen aid.
I've died a lot. I've seen that death kanji many times.
You can get rid of the dragon rot on the NPCs. Because any NPC who has dragon rot, you cannot further their quest.
All because of Dr. Wafu.
And I believe only 2 NPCs can actually die from dragon rot, and they don't have a big quest moment. So you're not really penalized for the dragon rot, except not being able to do side quests. And some do have ties to one particular ending, so you want that ending, you kind of have to keep them healthy. Yeah, and the level design is amazing, I think. Like,
once you get to the castle, the castle is really really cool. Once you figure out how stuff loops back, and
yeah,
I think that's what I was saying to Mao a few days ago. I was like, it's just really satisfying exploring and figuring your way back to an area. And I know that's been in a lot of the FromSoft games, but it feels even more so in this because you'll like see an area like the castle from the outside, then you'll go inside and explore it and see how it just branches and goes everywhere. It's just really cool.
Yeah, and you can even end up going to other locations, though eventually there will be a boss choke point that you have to clear so that you can keep going down those other areas. But it's not just super linear. Especially, basically, once you beat the third boss, the game really opens up. To more than just go to this one point as your objective. The story is also way more like traditional compared to
it's less
games.
It's less a find the lore hidden everywhere game and more like a here's the story
to do something
exactly.
You're being told for story reasons why you're doing it. And there are some decisions to be made during the story.
Yeah, you're the vassal of Samurai Kid. Save him and do his bidding.
Yeah. The bosses are quite more. There's way more variety than I originally thought there might be. It's not just all samurai dudes. There are some like beast type enemies.
A bull with tatami mats on its horns lit on fire is my favorite so far.
Also some supernatural ones.
Okay, that's cool. I haven't seen any of those yet.
In the trailer, there was a giant snake.
Oh, yeah. No, I've seen him. Yeah.
Like, so some just stuff from Japanese folklore. It's so good. Like, everything just ties together very well. And then the one thing I also like is that your prosthetic, you get tons of ninja tools, I believe they're called. Like shuriken or the flamethrower or a spear.
Firecrackers.
Shinobi tools.
Firecrackers, yes. Those are probably the best tool in the game, I think.
Those are the ones that I
Almost-
think stun like a wide cone in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
it tells
right.
you that it's really good against beast enemies, but it's also just really good against a lot of samurai type enemies too.
Yeah,
That
especially
will
when
get-
there's like 2
will
or
get
3
stunned
guys
for
on
a
you,
little
you just throw them out and
Yeah, and they all have upgrades eventually. That can be upgraded in multiple different ways.
yeah. Rather than upgrading your weapons, a lot of the materials you find are for the
Yeah, for
shinobi
your
prosthetics.
tools. And most bosses usually have 1 or 2 tools that are they're like weak to, basically.
Mhm.
So
Mega
yeah,
Man 'em.
it's
Encourages you to experiment.
interesting. Yes. Not to just stick with one tool or something.
I love the umbrella. It's probably my favorite
I
one.
don't think I've ever used the umbrella.
I just
actually.
like the way it looks. It's
yeah,
cool.
it is cool. You get an umbrella that you fold out and use as a shield.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, the game definitely it encourages exploration and trying new things.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, you find a lot of the or a decent amount of the prosthetics just by looking around exploring.
Yep,
Sometimes
and
there'll be
talking
vendors
about
hiding,
stuff.
chests. Yeah, people. I love one of my favorite little subtle things is when you sneak around, you can eavesdrop on people and get information from them. And they'll
Yep.
tell you stuff about like where an item is hidden or a boss's weakness, or you are shinobi, so you run around, you collect intel, and it helps you with the game. It's just a
That's
nice,
cool.
cool
I
little
like that.
touch. Yeah.
Yeah, like early
Yeah.
on, there's a particular enemy who you will there's a group standing next near the enemy, and they're like, if you eavesdrop, you find out they're weak to fire, and then you can actually buy information from a merchant who tells you how to get the flamethrower. So yeah,
Mhm.
they put a lot more into the story side of things this time.
Yeah.
And you can play you can just try and roll in as stealthy as possible, or you can like just
There are a lot of
if
mini
you're
bosses you
if
can
you're-
get the jump on too, and it
Yep.
makes them a lot easier.
you take off 1 health bar basically out of usually 2, and or you can run in and try and kill everyone.
That's really hard to do.
It is hard, but it is possible.
Yep.
Just go full mob too.
I will not fight the monks like more than one of them
No,
at once.
But like
they
the
wreck
typical
you.
samurai guys, I tend to just end up cutting
Mhm.
through them now because stealthing can take a long time.
Yeah. The
And while you're doing a death blow, you have iframes. So
Yep. The I was saying this earlier, but I think my one complaint with the game is the camera and the lock on.
yeah, it wouldn't be a FromSoft game if the camera wasn't your enemy as well.
Exactly. Once you get in like indoors and in some narrow areas, sometimes it does stuff. Or if you're like running around dodging enemies, sometimes it will just unlock from them.
Yeah, especially if they end up directly behind you for some reason.
Yeah.
They'll just forget the lock on and you have to redo it.
Which is annoying, but it's not unsurmountable.
No. Yeah, each boss also sort of like kind of reinforces certain levels or ideas about the game. Usually like how reminding you that you should be deflecting a lot, or
Yeah.
that running away is not necessarily a bad thing.
Mikiri counters. It's like, hey, you should probably get that Mikiri counter skill. Because I'm going to thrust on you every opportunity I get.
Yeah,
Or,
the game is a little. I don't know if it's a translation thing or what, but like some of the stuff they say, like I think they tell you that thrusts are uncounterable, or unparryable, but you can actually deflect them.
Yeah, it actually says that in the tooltips. You can apparently you can perfectly deflect them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I've-
they,
you
I
can
think it's
do.
a lot tighter, but
I've
I wonder
actually
if that's
seen.
like something from the like a hangover, like it originally wasn't.
yeah.
It might have been.
I've actually seen a lot of people complaining about like just the translation in general, the people who actually speak Japanese or whatever. So maybe it's just like something that got mistranslated in the menus, possibly.
There's a lot of lines within the game itself. If you're listening to the Japanese, where the lines in the English translation are not even remotely close to what they're actually saying.
Yeah, I've seen lots of funny examples of it from people who speak Japanese. So
Yeah,
I am playing on the dub. which I'm
You
sure you two
would.
are playing. on the sub.
Yeah, I'm playing
I'm
on
playing
sub.
on the sub. I'll probably play on the sub the first
Oh,
one.
Kami.
Really?
I was gonna say a lot of people actually do think the dub is pretty good, like the acting quality.
Oh, the acting sounds fine.
It's great. Yeah.
The first boss is amazing. Like a lot of people are like, he's way more, just got way more gravitas than the Chinese version.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's also become a bit of a meme.
Oh, show. I haven't seen any memes of him.
Nah.
Oh, don't worry. You're there.
I've seen lots of funny like cat girl memes about like Wolf thinking about the cat. Some cat girl or something. I don't know what that might be a reference to something later on. Maybe he meets like a Neko spirit or something, but it could just be random nonsense, but I've seen it a lot. Oh, Kami.
Also, it's completely offline, so you can pause. And
Yay!
there's no random people showing up to wreck your day because you decided to go online.
This makes me happy.
Yeah, there's zero PvP, which I mean I know is good and bad. Because the Dark Souls can have a lot of good PvP in it, but it's also like you don't really get a choice. Like if you want, it's an all or nothing with being online sort of a thing. So this is they just took that away entirely. They also said you can summon. There's certain NPCs you can get to help you, but I've only found that in one situation.
I have as well, and he didn't help that much.
Is it that one dude when you face the giant
Drunk dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah,
but,
I love it.
Like
as well.
my adrenaline will just end up spiking real hard at times.
Yeah. I thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be hard to top just because it's Kingdom Hearts 3, but
Gameplay wise, this is definitely.
Oh, this is far. Oh, no, there's no question.
Kingdom Hearts has got very floaty combat. This game's got like really strict stuff.
Oh yeah, this game's super sharp and responsive. So
this game, like this game makes you feel so good about accomplishing things.
yeah, yeah. I don't think I've ever like felt better about being bosses than I have in this game, especially the one that took me like 4 hours. I was like,
I thankfully
finally
have not had to take that long on any boss.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about him. It just I couldn't
Something
figure it
wasn't
out.
clicking.
Yeah,
I got lucky.
Yeah,
This is what I told Mal.
Generally attacking until they perfect parry you, which is where you see the bigger sparks off the sword, is and then just immediately getting ready for their attack to perfect parry them is just where you want to be especially the sword fighting.
Yeah, I had to learn that being aggressive is actually the best defense in this game.
Right.
Instead of, I was trying to play against him very reactively, and when I started getting more aggressive against him, I started doing a lot better. Just standing in his face, hack, parry, hack, parry,
Yeah, I was
Definitely.
doing the same thing at the start. I was ending up just like doing perfect parries, and that's fine. But I'm like, man, it really feels like I should probably be pressing this R1 button. Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah.
And then then you learn it's like, oh yeah, they'll perfect parry you and then go right into attack potentially. And then if they do, you can just immediately perfect parry them. I'm like, well, this makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, and dodging is not always the best offensive option in this game because I think they purposely said they increased the tracking to make like because they wanted you to parry, basically to learn that you have to parry.
No
Everybody's a
iframes
heat-seeking
in
missile.
dodge, or no iframes in a jump, and way less iframes in a dodge than from the Soulsborne.
Yeah, like that boss I'm talking about will do like a jump in the air attack, and you will dodge, and he will literally like home in midair and like turn and still hit you.
Seeking missiles, man.
Yeah.
Dropkick from the ogre, dude. That thing will fly across the map.
Yeah.
You're gonna end
Boom!
up spawning, and
He's
that
coming
ogre's
in
gonna
like
come out of
Hulk
nowhere.
Hogan.
Amusingly, they then have after the third boss, which really teaches you about pairing, is basically why they're there. The boss that can end up being either your fourth or fifth, depending on the path you take, kind of teaches you that you can't always do that. Also,
The bull taught me that.
I think it's the longest boss fight of the game, just because of the attack patterns.
Yeah.
It's just
Freaking bull.
The
The
bull is
bull
easy. Eventually, like if you can stun lock him, then
there are tricks.
Yeah.
There's tricks to every fight.
From what I've seen for like the bull, is just apparently just a lot of like dodge, run in, slap, slap, dodge, run in, slap, slap.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem.
Mhm.
I feel like that might be doing the fight wrong. Like maybe I'm wrong on that assumption, but that kind of feels like the whole game. That's kind of like the last thing to do, and it just seems really weird. Like just a fight of like slap, slap, run away, slap, slap, run away.
You can also use your firecrackers to stun it for a bit. And, I can't remember, but I think there's something else that you can use. But yeah, it's you can also parry it, but I think it has to be more of a perfect parry.
Yeah, you can parry like one or two of its attacks, but yeah, you have to perfect parry them or you just get run over.
It seems that beast enemies usually are harder to just be super aggressive with.
Yeah. So anyone with a weapon.
I'll have to practice when I get to that point on him and see what I can do. So,
But yeah,
he's a fun boss fight because I love not Sir Not Man. Eventually, this is probably one of my favorite bosses too. Also, just because he screams Robert as he falls and dies. But
how does it compare to Neo? Like, because
Neo's way closer to a Soulsborne game than this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
This is way more just action style.
Neo's a lot more. Gameplay wise, yes. Neo also has a lot more supernatural stuff, at least so far.
Gotcha.
The biggest thing I like, because I play an assload of Neo. The biggest thing I've felt like just from the short run on Sekiro is that Neo is a little bit more flowy in what it does and whatnot. Everything kind of feels loose. Sekiro feels a little bit stiffer when it comes to like when you an attack or you jump, you're kind of dedicated to that, and there's essentially a bit of a delay from with attacks and whatnot. It's very precise.
Yeah,
you can't really cancel out of stuff.
Attack canceling, I believe, to some degree.
Oh, is there? I haven't noticed any.
I remember people talking about it because Dark Souls is none like that.
Yeah, that's what it's felt like to me so far, but maybe I just didn't know about it.
FromSoft has always made it like you learn the patterns so that when you press a button, you are committed to that button press, and you can't really change your mind after you've pressed it.
Yeah, I will also say that like Neo also had kind of the the dodges were definitely I don't want to say that they kind of, I mean, they pull from, Dark Souls, so to speak, but the dodges are super quick, super nice. And Sekiro has obviously, dropped down on that, so that's not really saying much, but
yeah.
I would just say Neo is just very heavily, it's very flowy. Like you can generally you feel like you have a lot of freedom to respond to certain things into certain situations. Sekiro is kind of like, you've laid your cards down, you're committing to it, and that's kind of how it is, but you will be rewarded for doing it right.
Get ready to push that R1 button.
Yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, it's very rewarding to be able to read attack movements from the enemy, especially bosses. Like, I don't even know how I'm doing it sometimes, but it just kind of, like, there's a sub-level that's processing the information that I can't quite figure out. That's like, oh, this twitch this way, I better get ready to block it this rhythm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just figuring out tells, because a lot of time when they do their quote-unquote unstoppable attack, or whatever the game calls it,
perilous attack.
Yeah, they'll take like multiple stances, so then you gotta learn like which one's which. Yep. That was another thing I had to figure out fighting that boss, so... Yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's going to be hard to top for me. I'm just going to say that about every game as it comes out, I guess. But yeah,
I'm excited to try it.
It's going to be hard.
I guess we got to wait and see what Persona 5R is, right?
That doesn't count, really.
Very different genre.
For nostalgia reasons,
it is, but
for me. But I don't see any game being able to like top the feeling of like mechanically with this game.
Like I think this will top it for me. Just overall, in general, it'll top Kingdom Hearts 3 for me. I loved Kingdom Hearts 3. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
that was almost more just like the. it's the culmination of like games I've been playing since I was a teenager. So
you've been waiting for it so long, you cannot allow yourself to think badly of it.
I've been waiting for 13 years, 13 Xehanors. So yeah,
Jesus.
Yep. It's almost like he did it on purpose.